Hey guys, welcome to Spiritual Musings of a Popcorn Brain. I've decided to do season 2 about me so that you can understand who I am and where I'm coming from. So each episode I'll give you some insight into my history as to why I think and believe the way that I do. Being married to Jonathan was definitely a change. And being married to anyone, whether it's the first time you've been married or in this case where you were married to someone previously, everyone brings their baggage into the relationship, but it's usually difficult to identify whatever your own baggage is. And we were having some struggles. We had really high highs and really low lows. And I remember thinking just a couple months in, what have I done? I went from the frying pan into the fire, and I don't know if I can do this again. Do I need to consider getting a divorce? And what is going on? This man certainly seemed amazing. Was I duped? What is going on? I thought back to some advice that I had received from my pastor's wife at a previous church. And I recently contacted her and asked if I could use her name. So her name was Faith. And she had shared with me, and I asked for her exact words so I could share with you exactly this advice. And she said, number one, never talk about someone that you're having a difficult time with, because you probably won't end up saying nice things. And number two, when you have a negative thought about that person, then she says, she prays, Father, enlarge my heart to love them as they are, not as I wish they were. And then 3, she repeats steps 1 and 2 as long as necessary. And she says that she has had the Lord fix relationships, sometimes in 6 years, sometimes in 6 days, or sometimes in 6 hours. And the way that I had internalized that advice was, when you're having problems with another believer, that you would pray that God would change their heart or that he would change yours. And I believe that God is okay with venting so long as we're not being disrespectful toward him. He's fine with us venting. He wants to hear our hearts. So I have vented to God and obviously, tried to show him all the reasons why I'm right and the other person is wrong. But then I had to back up and say, but God, if I am actually wrong, please help me to see it. Give me eyes to see it and help me to understand. So I was praying during this beginning time when Jonathan and I were having these lows, because it was really bizarre. And some of these highs and these lows were back to back, like within the same hour. And Jonathan knows people and he likes to solve problems, which is a good combination. And God was able to give him insight that what our issue was, that we were using techniques that we had used to cope in our past relationship when there was strife, to cope in our current relationship. And there was some unhealthiness in what we were doing because of the ways that we were mistreated in those prior relationships that caused our coping mechanism to be the opposite of how it should be when you are having strife with someone who actually wants the good of both of you. And So he was given that insight, and then we each had to tweak some of what we were doing and how we were coping and with each other, and it was amazing after that. So those first 6 months, until he had that insight, there were really high highs and really low lows. But by the time our 1-year anniversary rolled around, which is when we had our official wedding, the first one was more of an elopement. When we had our official wedding, where we invited friends and family to come to a bigger wedding, that one, I was able to stand up there and honestly say that my worst days with Jonathan were better than my best days with James. And that's only by the grace of God. That's not a comparison of the two, but it certainly attests to the fact that one cared about me and the other didn't. So that was what I was wanting to share this time. So you can take that advice, if you take it the way Faith says it exactly, or my very simplified version, that advice has served me well. If you are having struggles, negative thoughts, anything towards another believer, you need to take it to God. And you need to ask Him and have Him show you how to deal with that person. And if you are not spending time in the Bible, and in a true Bible, a Bible that acknowledges and says that Jesus is the one and only Son of God. There are some Bibles out there that try to take away His deity. You stay away from those Bibles. Get an actual Bible and spend time in it every day and ask God to give you wisdom and to give you discernment, and He will. The Bible says that He will, and He does. And it will be amazing, and you will start to see things and hear things that you didn't before, and you'll know that it's Him. And it's an amazing feeling, an amazing place to be. If you found this useful, or you know someone who would, then please share this with them or subscribe. Thank you for letting me share my popcorn brain.